15 Things You Should Never Do in Singapore. Singapore is Asia's global hub for tourism, culture, business, and entertainment. The place is also a melting pot of different cultures. Just take the MRT and you'll see how you're transported from Chinatown to Little India within minutes. Singaporeans take pride in their beautiful city, and the government makes sure to keep it that way. The people abide to strict rules, and as a tourist, so should you. Here are 15 things you should never do in Singapore. Number 1. Don't chew gum, unless you have prescription. As devoted as Singapore is to its cleanliness, it has strict opinions about people chewing gum. Even the shops in Singapore do not sell gum, because sometimes the way it is disposed of is not according to the city's cleanliness standards. You are not allowed to chew gum until and unless you have a prescription. This might sound a little absurd to some, but let's face it, this is what it takes to get a city as clean as Singapore. Number 2, don't show your feet. This is more of an etiquette quirk than a legal one. Many Asian people think of lowly feet as dirty. It is considered offensive to point with your toes or show the bottoms of your feet. You won't make any friends if you pop your feet up on the coffee table or couch. So, wear proper shoes and take note on how people feel about the different body parts. Number 3, don't take taxis. Consider this insider advice, not a hard and fast rule, but why take a pricey taxi when the public transportation system in Singapore is one of the most efficient in the world? The MRT, Mass Rapid Transit, system is a fast and comfortable way to zip around the city, and most of the main attractions are within walking distance from a station. The Singapore Tourist Pass makes it convenient and affordable to hop on unlimited daily rides. Number 4, don't snack on the MRT. If you do decide to take public transit, hope you don't get the munchies on board. While many other cities' transit systems allow you to sip a beverage or nibble a snack on the ride, Singapore's MRT has officially been a no-eating or drinking zone since 1987. Fines can be up to $500 for daring to bite. Number 5, don't connect to unsecured Wi-Fi. Better check that your auto-discovery setting is turned off when in Singapore. Tapping into an unsecured Wi-Fi network is considered a crime almost akin to hacking, under the Computer Misuse Act. There's a case of a teenager being sentenced to 3 years for connecting to his neighbor's network. Desperate to check your Facebook feed? Find a secure network and use the password. Number 6, don't tip. Different countries have different approaches when it comes to compensating service staff. In Singapore, tipping is not a standard cultural practice, so no need to leave some extra coins or bills for your waiter. A service charge may be added to your bill in some establishments, but it's not a widespread practice. Number 7, don't give gifts without a little research. You wouldn't think something as friendly and generousness as gift giving would be a cultural minefield, but you might want to do a little research before wrapping up a present for a Singaporean. For starters, don't wrap a gift in white, as that symbolizes mourning. Don't give clocks, handkerchiefs or flowers, as those items are associated with Chinese funerals. Don't give a Muslim, Malay or Indian Singaporean any alcohol or pigskin/leather goods. Don't present a gift with your left hand. Use both hands or your right one to pass the parcel. Who knew gift giving could be such a complicated matter? Number 8, don't do graffiti. This is one of the things not to do in Singapore that gets a lot of publicity. Spray painting on a wall, or carving your sweetheart's name in a park bench could result in a public caning. Yes, this modern, first world, commercial hub of a city still occasionally sentences offenders to corporal punishment for acts of vandalism, such as stealing, destroying or damaging public property. Number 9. Don't forget to flush. The public restrooms in Singapore must be kept clean and pristine at all times. If you need to use the toilet, whether to urinate or to relieve yourself, never ever forget to flush. It is your civic duty to do this because the country takes this rule to the extremes. Officers are tasked to go around to randomly check these public toilets. If you're caught not flushing the toilet, especially after making a duty, you can get fined for as much as $150. Number 10. Don't cross anywhere. Sometimes, you're just so pressed for time that walking towards the pedestrian lane poses more of an inconvenience than anything else. So, you just go to the other side of the road without much thought and consideration for the cars passing. You may get away with this irresponsible act in some countries, but don't expect them to be so kind in Singapore. You could end up paying $100 for jaywalking. If you're a repeat offender, then you may find yourself serving time in the slammer for 3 months. Number 11. Don't feed the pigeons. Singapore has placed parks around the area, and you may find a pigeon or two near you. In the US, feeding the birds is perfectly alright. Things, however, are different in this Asian city. You can't feed the pigeons with bread. Or with anything, for that matter. If you disobey, you will be fined $500. The officials are sticklers for cleanliness, and feeding your new feathered friends could mean that you leave crumbs everywhere. So, don't give in to temptation and just enjoy the view. Number 12. Don't assume that you can get an Airbnb rental. Airbnb rentals are definitely cheaper than hotels. Travelers on a budget often take this route. However, you can't expect to get one in Singapore. You're better off looking for a budget hotel or staying with a friend who lives there. Since 2017, private homeowners have been prohibited from renting out their place for less than 3 months. Number 13. Don't order food without agreeing to a price. You may be lured to Singapore by the vibrant food scene. Many visitors stop at the food courts, Chomp Chomp Food Center or Glutton's Bay, but make sure to agree on a price for your meal first. There have been cases of visitors being overcharged for dishes such as seasonal chili crab, or even durian fruit. Number 14. Avoid discussing extreme political or religious views in public. Singapore, being a conglomerate of 15% Malaysian, 6% Indian and 76% Chinese cultures, does not want any of its inhabitants to be offended on the grounds of politics or religion. Religion and politics are the sensitive strings you do not want to tug at. The religious harmony and tolerance here is already at its best, and is the last thing you want to put to imbalance here. Respectful conversations are harmless, but do not start one until you know you can keep your cool. Number 15. Don't be insensitive to the multicultural society. With a multitude of temples, mosques and sacred sites of worship, visiting Singapore can be an enriching experience. If you do decide to pay a visit to places such as the Sultan Mosque or Tian Hock Keng Temple, be sensitive and mindful of your actions. This means covering your shoulders and wearing long sleeves and a long skirt or trousers, lowering your voice and not taking pictures for your social media. Instead, be observant and surrender yourself to your tranquil and spiritual surroundings.